It's my frequency therapy. Love it. Love it. Okay. All right. Take a second to stack the vertebrae. So yeah, take your shoulders really up, and then just kind of hinge them back just a little bit, and then drop them down, and you'll find a place where you can kind of hinge right there, and that's kind of where you want to sit your shoulders, because we don't want to do this, because that just kind of like dumps them right low back. So just up, and squeeze back, and then just drop them down, and that's kind of just where they set naturally. And then just taking a second to just kind of ground yourself, just kind of shake the day off. We all got a little backwards this morning, which is just life, and we just have to laugh at it and just move on. And then taking a deep inhale, big belly breath. And then exhaling all your air out. And then inhale deeply. And exhale, 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 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, 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 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, 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 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And exhale. Take your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your belly. And just kind of take a second to check into your body. Just kind of notice how your ankles feel on the mat. Noticing your knees, your sits bones, your low back, your spine, your shoulders, your neck, your head. Just kind of noticing each individual thing on your body right now. And then just take this second to set an intention for your practice this morning. Maybe that's to just quiet the mind, to focus more on the breath, to stop blaming, just noticing what comes up for you. And then raising your standards for yourself every day is a new opportunity, a new day. And then slowly take a really deep inhale, trying to move those ribs out to the side, back moves. And then as you exhale, open your eyes and come to your downward facing dog. And then just start kind of pedaling your body, noticing where you might feel tight or maybe sore. And really try to grip your mat now with bridges and domes. So it's like almost like there's an invisible ball underneath your mat. And you're trying to create, so it's like you're trying to squeeze your, yeah, perfect. And creating that perfect little ball underneath your hand, and doming your hands. And try to relax the head and neck a little bit more, like you're reaching your head towards your fingertips. I love that one. I love it, I love it. I'm coming to you, Dawn. And then take one more deep inhale and exhale. And then come to your forearms for a dolphin pose. So this is really, really good to try to get the shoulders open. So just kind of pulling your chest through your arms. So just try to breathe here. So this is a really uncomfortable pose when we first started. But if you're okay here, see if you can step your feet up a little bit. And then straighten your arms back out. Hover your knees over the mat a little bit, but still press your body back into like a down dog arm. And then slowly release. Go ahead and come to all fours. And let's get some cat-cows going in here. So on the tops of your feet, we're going to inhale, trying to retract our shoulders, pull our chest through. Inhale, look up. And then as you exhale, press your hands away, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. You can even tuck your feet a little bit here. And then inhale, reaching all your body all the way through. And try to notice, so go ahead and tuck your toes again, and try to imagine like your sits bones is really reaching back towards the back wall. Keep trying to take it up higher. And then exhale, tuck your chin, tuck your toes, and press your body away. Really pulling the pelvis forward. And then keeping the pelvis very engaged, very pulled forward, muscularly, everything. And then just start to sink back, trying to keep your hands where they are, but just sinking that butt back all the way. Breathe. Slowly take your knees out to the side, pressing your butt back towards your heels. And then right hand is going to come up, twist. And then as you exhale, take that right arm all the way through. And then you're going to lay on that arm, act like you're laying on it, and then try to pull it back out. So you should feel a nice opening in the back of the scapula. And you can put your left hand right in front of your face, and then use it to twist, taking your gaze over your left shoulder. Just kind of releasing a little bit in our low back, opening up in the shoulders, and then slowly release. Take your left hand all the way up. You're really trying to get that twist. And then thread your left arm through and lay on it, and then act like you're trying to pull it back out. And taking your hands right in front of your face, twist, taking your gaze over your right shoulder. This might feel so wonky and weird, but just bear with me. And then slowly coming back up to all fours, reaching your right hand forward, left heel is going to kick back. And so make sure you're really reaching, extending in those fingertips. Everything is energetic and you're pressing that heel back, legs are engaged. And then taking your hands out to the right, leg out to the left for an awkward airplane. Sorry. And then reaching back forward. And then to try to reach back and grab the back of your foot. And then once you have it, try to kick. And so you're really lifting up, trying to open up in the chest and shoulders. This kind of tests our balance, opens up in our psoas a little bit, just kind of warms it up. And then slowly release. Taking your left hand forward, right heel is going to kick back. So really try to get that feeling your body is pulling in two separate directions. Lengthening, and then taking it out to the side for awkward airplane. And it's really awkward. And then taking it back, reaching back and grabbing the back of your, the top of your foot, and then kick. Allowing your chest to open, your shoulders, your quads. Breathe. And then slowly release. Go ahead and tuck your toes and come to your downward facing dog. So start tapping into your ujjayi breath, your constricted throat breathing. And then very slow, this is a weird exercise, y'all, so bear with me. Try to tiptoe and taking your hand, the weight into your hands as much as you can, trying to tiptoe to as close as your hands as you can get, and then exhale, just grab opposite elbows. Take a deep bend in your knees. So give your spine an opportunity to kind of warm up. And just kind of lean that body forward. Turning your head yes and no. Shoulders pulled away from your ears. And then inhale, rise all the way up, palms pressed together, reaching up, and then pulling down. Quads are engaged, whole body is solid. Hands to first center. Inhale, rise up, palms pressed together, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, and then exhale, step back to your half push-up or less. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your right hand and just try to reach across your body, trying to grab the outside of your left leg, and then twist, taking your gaze under your left armpit. And then slowly switching sides, so the left hand goes on the outside of your right leg, and just trying to twist, taking your gaze under your right armpit. And then slowly release. Take your right foot and step between your hands. And so option here to keep that back leg straight and strong, or you can drop the back knee. But take your left hand on the inside of your right foot and twist. Again, taking that gaze up towards the right fingertips. And here, you can even take that top arm and just try to bind it behind your body, but then pull that shoulder blade back, keeping your gaze up towards the ceiling or your shoulder. And then coming back around, taking your right hand in front of your right foot, and make sure it's like in front of the knee, so it's like arm and knee, and then gaze up towards the left fingertips. And then see if you can bind that top arm, maybe grabbing the top of your thigh, and then pulling that shoulder blade back. Very nice. And then go ahead and come forward again. You can drop the back knee or keep it up. Turn your toes out to the side. Take your leg out to the side, and then slowly lower it down. Now this is a dreaded pose for most people. And so just trying to allow your body to relax into it as much as possible. If it helps you to relax, drop that back knee. And just let that right knee just kind of like head over to the side. And then really just starting to focus on your breathing here. I know. We're trying to stretch the psoas that attaches from our thoracic spine all down our spine and wraps to the front of our leg. Yeah. And so slowly come back up. And then straighten that front leg, pulling your hips back and pull your toes towards your face. So again, trying to keep a straight spine. And then coming back forward, hands up onto the meaty part of your knee. And then just try to come up onto the top of your foot for a second. Just kind of stretching the front of the shin, all those yummy muscles. And then lowering back down, taking your left hand down the back of your leg and coming up and over for a half camel. And then again, coming back around, reaching back and grabbing that, the top of your left foot. And just kind of twisting. Come on, I can give you a different map. And then slowly just coming up into a crescent lunge. So now that back heel is heading up towards the ceiling. The back leg is straight and strong. And so hover that back knee and straighten. Hover and straighten. Hover. And then popping up into your warrior three. So trying to get your hips squared towards the mat. Gazes forward. Take your right hand down towards the mat. So take your time to really try to stack your hips on top of each other So it's like we're trying to fit in between a plane of glass, trying to get the shoulders really stacked. And then very, very last thing that you can do is take your gaze up towards your fingertips. Good, yes. And just get the feeling that you're being lifted. Maybe you can bend that leg and try to grab your foot.
I don't think good perception.
Yeah, I know, and I hate mirrors in yoga studios for that reason, because then it throws off the balance.
Instead of feeling for it, yeah, right.
Yeah. The balancing poses are so good, yeah, but they're very hard, especially when you have to take your gaze somewhere else. So just take one more second here. Take your hand back down. So if you have a block, maybe use the block, and try to really get your body stacked here. And just flexing and pressing. The more you flex and press in that heel, the more balanced you'll be. And then slowly.
Hips are opening wide, right?
Yep. Yeah, so it's like you're trying to fit in between a plane of glass. Woo! And then go ahead and forward fold, keeping that left leg up for a standing splits. And so just be real careful and mindful here. Don't take this one too far. And just each inhale and exhale, try to lift that leg a little higher. And then step to the top of your mat, forward fold. I love you guys. And then inhale, right leg is going to come up into a standing split. And then maybe you test your balance, trying to grab with one hand, maybe both. And then slowly walking your hand a little bit forward, left hand forward or onto your block, and then take the time to set up your pose, noticing where you can kind of tighten up or adjust. And then very slowly, take your gaze towards your right hand. And then again, if you ever, want to try, you can always try to reach towards that foot back behind you. And then,
I got it!
yay! And then step your foot all the way back into your crescent lunge. Yeah, good job. It's a hard one. It really is, but it's a really good hip opener though. And so right hand goes on the inside of your left foot and twist. Again, you can have the option to drop that back knee. And then you can option to bind your top arm if you're working towards binds, trying to pull that left shoulder blade back. It's just good for good shoulder health too. And then left hand on the inside of your left foot and twist. Taking your gaze up towards your right fingertips. Again, option to bind here. You might not be even close to your thigh, but still try to pull that right shoulder back. Gaze up towards the ceiling. And then slowly release. You drop that back knee, turn your toes out, and then come down onto the side. I know. For the much dreaded. I think this one's called Blizzard. Just be real careful. And just breathe here. Got option to go into a pigeon as well. This one just gets a little deeper. I'm sure you guys can feel that. And just breathe. And then slowly coming up. Take your hand onto them and just take your hips back and toes towards your face and just really pull that hip back. I'm sure a lot of us are getting really tight in our low back and our psoas and our hips at this point. So I thought I'd do a themed class today. Guess you guys can guess the theme a body forward, so make sure that the hips stay forward and you're not twisting in this pose, so make sure the hips stay forward, and then give me like a little pelvic thrust. So it's like we're trying to get a posterior tilt, the no butt syndrome, and then reach that right arm up and over. I'm sorry, right arm goes back behind your leg to help support you, and then left arm comes up and over, reaching back. Again, keep trying to keep the hips squared. This is kind of almost even a modification for dancer too. And then coming back up and around, stepping to the top of your mat, forward fold. Woo! Just kind of shake it out. And then take your hands just like directly in front of your face. Your right hand, bend your right knee and twist, taking your gaze up towards your left fingertips. And just really allowing that right hip to drop down, sending the left hip up towards the ceiling. And then switching sides, right hand comes up, left knee is bent, and just really sending that right hip towards the ceiling. Slowly release. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, step back to your half push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your heels together, bring your knees out wide, step or jump. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms press together. And then exhale. Forward fold, sorry. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, step back to your half, push up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Anchor your left foot at a 45, right leg comes up, and use that momentum to step your right foot between your hands in warrior one. And try to keep that back heel pop down. And then hips are forward, and you can even use this knee, so you want to come more forward, then use that knee to press that right hip back, bringing the left hip forward, good. Pressing the back of the heel, and then exhale all the way down to your half push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Anchor your right foot at a 45, taking your left foot up, and then stepping it between your hands, good, warrior one. Coming up, palms pressed together because it's harder. This is the stronger. Just taking the time to sink down into your warrior one. Hopefully your hips feel a little bit more open here. And then exhale all the way down to your half push-up. Inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Sorry, go forward. Bend your elbows back. And take them toward on the inside. So they're here. Gotcha.
This makes a difference.
Yes. So yeah, make sure you keep them in, and the elbow eyes turn forward. You come forward half. Okay. And so even if you can't go all the way down. And step your right foot between your hands, coming into your warrior two. And so really try pulling that knee out towards the right. And then again, getting that pulling upwards in the pelvis. Gaze over the right fingertips and reach. And then reach forward and reverse your warrior, keeping the bend in the front knee. And then straighten out your front leg. And then hinge forward, hinge forward, hinge forward. And then take your hand down to your shin or block or the mat. And then take your gaze up towards your left fingertips. So option here to take a slight bend in the knee, grab your big toe, and press into your thumbnail, and then just try to lift up. So really kind of feeling a nice opening in the low back, trying to keep that leg straight. And then coming back to your warrior two. Elbow goes on the inside of your knee, pressing your knee away, and then arm reaches up and over. So really take this opportunity to press that knee out. So don't sit on it, resting on it. And then coming back to your warrior two, circling your hands all the way down to your half push-up. One exhalation all the way down. Inhale, upward facing. Stay here for a breath. I know. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot between your hands, coming up in warrior two. So really try to take a deep bend in that front knee. Back foot is parallel. And then reaching forward, so trying to stack your shoulders over your hips. And then reach forward, reversing your warrior, trying to keep the bend in the front knee. And then straightening out your front leg. And then reaching forward, taking your hand down to your ankle or your shin or your toe, and then taking your gaze up towards your right fingertips. So really, again, trying to pull your pelvis, your hips forward, getting the feeling you're being lifted. And then coming back to your warrior two, elbow comes on the inside of your knee, pressing it away, arm reaches up and over. So it's like a solid ramp from the outside of your heel all the way to your fingertips. And then keep trying to twist. Ultimately, we're trying to bring our heart towards the ceiling. That takes some time. And then coming back to your warrior two, circling your hands all the way down to your half push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your heels together, bend your knees out, wide step or jump. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Take your feet about hip-width distance. Take your peace fingers, grab your big toes. Inhale, look up, pull up. And then as you exhale, just kind of lean forward, but keep that bend in the knee, trying to keep the chest on your legs. Pulling your shoulder blades away from your ears. Good. Try to relax in the head and neck. Good. Just breathe here. And then very, very slow and controlled, taking your hands up to your waist. And then slowly coming up. Yeah, that one never gets easier. I wish it did. I swear I've been doing it forever and it just still hurts every time. That hurts, but so taking your, step your left foot back behind you and just anchor it out a little bit. So take at least a foot or two, so a pretty decent stance. And then keeping your hips forward. And so front leg is going to energetically, so engaging our deep six muscles, externally rotate that front foot, so it's staying straight, but we're just activating those muscles. Back foot, internally rotating. And then you're trying to rip your mat in two separate directions and grab either opposite elbows, opposite hands, or you can take a reverse prayer, just wherever you are in your practice. And then make sure that those shoulders aren't coming forward, so really pull those shoulders back. And so really engaging in the legs and just hinging forward. Your gaze is about 2 or 3 inches in front of your toes or more. And it's almost like somebody's pulling on our head, trying to lengthen our spine. So this is actually a spine extension. And so notice if one hip starts to go cattywampus over the other. Trying to lower down as much as you can, trying to bring your heart towards your ankle. Good. The more I keep you here, the more your body is like, okay, I'll give you a little bit more, but this sucks and I hate you. Okay, I'll give you a little bit more, but this sucks and I hate you. And you're like, yeah, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. No, go see your energy do. No. And then slowly come back up. We gotta make fun of our internal voice, right? Like, nah, I'm listening to you, I'll make you. So taking your left hand, either again to your shin, your foot, or the outside of your foot, but just find where you are, and then take your right hand to your back, your spine is straight, and then really engaging the legs, twisting, taking your gaze over your right shoulder. And so as you can feel here, your legs have to be super engaged or you're gonna fall. Good job. Nice. And then step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Woohoo! Those actually suck but feel amazing. Those are a love-hate thing I have, I think. So take your feet almost mat width distance this time. And then bend your knees and take a step on your hands as much as you can. And just kind of massage them for a second with your toes. And then inhale, look up, pull up. And then as you exhale, just hinging the body forward, taking the legs straight. And again, pulling the shoulder blades away from the ears. Arms are winging out to the side if possible. And just kind of turning the head yes and no. Just relieving a little bit in the cervical spine. And then maybe you play with leaning forward a little bit. Maybe trying to get your heels up off the mat a little bit, but just being very careful. But finding that push-pull. And then slowly take a deep bend in the knees. Taking your hands up to your waist and then slowly coming up. Oh. Now step that right foot back behind you. So get a pretty decent stance. And then your right foot's going to be angled out again. Kind of give yourself a little no butt syndrome, anterior tilt in our pelvis. So pulling the pelvis forward and then taking whatever bind you took on the other side. And then externally rotating front leg, internal back, ripping your mat apart, and then just hinging forward. It's like somebody's pulling on your head, trying to keep our spine as straight as we can. Ask for one, give me more, shut up, give me more, shut up. And then very, very slowly coming about halfway up, taking your right hand to the shin, foot, or floor. And again, taking your left hand onto your sacrum and just twisting. So really pull that left shoulder back, taking your gaze over your left shoulder. Step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms pressed together. So taking your right knee up. So take a second to really engage your core, engage your quads, press your heels down into the mat, pull in your midline, and then take all that balance over to your left leg, and then take your right knee up. And so just take your hand and just place it on the knee, so it's giving it a little bit of a challenge. We're not pushing down, but we're not holding it up. And then switch sides, so take your left hand on the outside of your right knee, and then very slow and controlled, twist, take your gaze over your right fingertips. And then coming back to center, take that leg out to the right, and use your hand to press the inside of your knee to press it back, and then slowly taking your gaze over your left shoulder. Again, testing our balance, making our feet and ankles do lots of work here, which is why it's nice to come up onto the top of the feet sometimes. And then coming back to center. Take your hands up over your head. This is Dawn's favorite pose here. And straighten up your leg and hold. Everybody else is like, we hate you, Dawn. Lift higher through. And one, pull it in. And see where it goes if you spring it out. And then from there, straighten out your leg and hold for 3. For 2. And 1. So start to walk your hands down your leg. So this might be as far as you go. But just see and keep trying to walk it down. This pose takes a while. And then take that right hip and just almost act like you're pressing that right hip back. And just breathe.
This is cheap for short-legged people.
Oh, I'm pretty short.
Long-legged people.
Just like the one where you have to lift your butt off the mat and like everybody's arms are too short for it. So you're grabbing that foot from here, we're gonna take it into a number 4. And so keeping that leg flexed, hands to purse center. And now you're gonna almost take your arms into chair arms and try to sit your sits bones backwards. So it's like you're trying to reach your fingertips up towards the corner of the room, and then your sits bones are sinking back. Yes, I'm sure your hips and all of that are screaming at me right now, and I love you guys for it. And then hands to prayer center.
Bridget, what are you trying to do this today?
Try to open up your hips. I know nobody likes hips. And take the back of your arms onto your shin. So this right here is a lot. So let's try to see if you can sink back. So if you can stay here, this is already a lot. If you can start to take your hands down to the mat, and just make sure your arms are still on the front of your shin. And just kind of walk your hands a little bit forward. And just, you can hold here. This is also a lot. And then if you're playing with your arm balances, you can start to lean forward onto the back of your arms. And then just walking your body back up, just the exact same way that you went in, and switch your sides. Woo! Yeah. So this is what you would call like a theme class. So I'm focusing on your hips. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. But also in that note, left leg comes up. Yeah, and the hips can be a lot for one class, yes. But you guys are awesome. And so taking your right hand on the outside of your left knee and twist, taking your gaze over your left fingertips.
It's harder than mirrors.
Yeah, the mirrors really throw off the balance. And then you're coming back and taking your hand on the inside of your knee, pressing your knee away. So again, get that pulling forward of the pelvis, and then gaze over the right fingertips. Shoulder. And then knee back to center, hands up over your head, and straighten out your leg, and hold, press into that heel, lift higher through, and one, pull it in. And then see where it is. How are your hip flexors doing? And then hands back over your head, straighten out your leg, and hold. And then slowly grab your leg and assist it. And then just kind of walk your hands down for a little bit, pulling that hip back, hip, heart forward. And then bend your knee, taking your ankle onto the meaty part of your knee, and hands to prayer center. Start to sink backwards, so try not to go forward, sink backwards. Hands reaching up towards the corner of the room as you're sinking your sits bones back. And then hands to prayer center, take them in front of your shins. Again, this is a lot, so just hold and breathe if you can. Slowly taking your hands down to the floor if you can. I know, I love you guys.
Gosh, I have to foot.
Do you feel the love? You guys feel it? Did you feel it? I really love you. And then slowly just coming back up the way you went in. Good. And then coming to your plank position. I'm sorry. No, go ahead and come to so take a big step out to the left. And then hands up on your waist, inhale, look up. Exhale, hinge forward. I'm just kind of opening up and the hips a little bit more. Huh?
Everything is cracking.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to feel really open in those areas when you leave, and you're going to probably hate me, but you'll love me later. And so take your hands down towards your mat, and then walk the back of your palms towards the back of your heels, fingertips facing forward, or just wherever until your palms start to come up off the mat. You want to have your palms still on the mat, And then very, very slow and controlled, come all the way over to the right side, keeping that left leg straight. This is one of those poses that are like, yeah! And so my right arm is gonna go in front of my shin on the outside of my right foot, and then twist, taking your gaze up towards your left fingertips. I know, believe me, this is one of the poses I hate the most. And then hands back to first center, switching sides, and then left hand comes in front of your shin and twist, taking your gaze up towards your right fingertips. And then hands to first center and just switch and hold. And switch. And then just coming back, so taking your toes, angling out towards your mat. Hands on the inside of your knees. And so just kind of keep your arms kind of straight if you can, and almost like where you can just sit and relax. So take your hands on top of your knees, but more on the inside. So it's almost like you're just using them to relax on. So it should feel kind of nice, actually. And then twist, taking your right shoulder down, twisting, taking your gaze over your left shoulder, and pushing your knees out. Just breathe. And then switching, taking your left shoulder in. This should feel really nice, you guys. Oh, I'm trying to give y'all a little love for a second. And then inhale back to center. Let's hug a tree. And try to stack your shoulders up over your hips. We love you, tree. You're our best friend. And then come up onto your right side. Come up onto your left side. Come up onto both sides. And then slowly turning back around and come all the way down onto your stomach. So reaching back and interlace your hands behind you, taking your toes together, and then inhale, lift up for locust. Keeping your gaze down so we're not cranking on the neck. Inhale, try to lift a little higher, breathe. And then slowly lower down. Just windshield wiper the legs here. Side to side. And then reach back, see if you can grab your ankles. If you can't, then I just want you to kick up towards the ceiling. I can do one. You're almost like And then you're just going to slightly kick, lifting your chest up, and you're trying to take your toes, your heels towards the ceiling. So inhale, really kick. And then slowly release. Keep your bind if you can. And then one more time, just try to kick up. Really try to get your heels onto the ceiling. Oh! And then release. Just a windshield wiper those legs side to side. And then slowly coming up onto your knees. Interlace your hands in front of you. Tucking your elbows in. Taking your hairline directly in front of your pinkies so your head is touching the mat. And your hands are just cupping your head, squeezing your head, but your head is not in your hands. And keeping those elbows down and in. Good. Yes, we want to protect those shoulders. And then start walking into upward facing dog, downward facing dog legs. And just start walking towards your head. Trying to get those hips stacked over your shoulders, making sure you're really pressing into the elbows and the hands.
Okay, this is really hurting your head. What am I doing wrong?
Your hands should not be, your head should not be in your hands. So they're just, your head's right here.
On your hand. It killed my head. That hurts.
I'll work with you on that after class, because I know you've gotten this into it before. Yeah, be careful. Make sure you're pressing down into your elbows and hands. So it's almost like your head barely has any weight on it. You should feel like less than 10 pounds of pressure on your head. Good, 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 good. And then once you're stacked, you find that just where it's easy, almost like the legs up the wall, feeling like the legs just have like little, good job! You see how when you completely stack, how your body just, yeah, it's a lot of core.
It's my neck.
Yeah, be careful with the neck. And so one way to really start strengthening that is the dolphin. Okay. And so yeah, really, and you can just kind of go back and forth in dolphin like this, or even coming back like this, and then go back into dolphin, coming forward like this, coming back into dolphin. But then go ahead and take your right leg forward and just start walking that leg back behind you. And so we're trying to get the shin as parallel with the mat as we can. Make sure that flying leg is flexed, but then walk that leg back behind you. And then slowly inhale, look up. And then really slowly just walking the body forward, trying to keep the hips squared on the mat as much as you can. And then just trying to relax forward in your pigeon. Not allowing your brain to get all like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to stay in this very long. It's like, remember meow. This is the perfect opportunity for you to kind of think about what you think about. When our poses get uncomfortable, when we are trying to challenge ourselves, what are some of the excuses that you try to give yourself to let yourself come out of the poses? Now, noticing the difference between I'm going to hurt myself or I'm just, I just don't like this. So finding that fine line, right? And just try to breathe. Starting to tap into your Ujjayi breath again, giving your brain something else to think about. Just take 2 more really long, deep inhales and exhales. Trying to double your length of your exhales. And then slowly come up. See if you can reach back and grab the top of your left foot and try to pull it towards you. Just getting one more hip stretch. Breathe. I know, nobody likes this one. And then slowly release and switch legs. So you can actually, let's take this leg up and over. So up and over, and then twist, taking your right arm on the outside of your left knee, and then inhale, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, twist. Done.
Other way.
Yeah, keep that leg there, and then twist the other way.
Oh, well, I think I got it.
Got that.
The pigeon leg is supposed to be the down, and then this.
Yeah, and then twist the other way. No, twist the other way.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's a twist and a twist and a twist. And just breathe. And then slowly release. I'm going to allow you guys to feel the one that I did last night. So coming up onto your knees and take that, let's see, we started with our left leg was forward in pigeon, was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay. Was it? No,
No,
it's right.
it's
It's
fine.
all right. Yes, so take your right leg up and over, and then see if you can open up your legs and sit between the 2 legs. Trying to get the sits bones on the mat. Yeah. Yeah, so you want to open up the legs, so when you step over, you kind of open them up. So they're here, and open them, like a W. Careful, 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 careful. Yeah. And we're trying to get that sits bones on the mat. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yep. Good. Everybody's like, I love it. Your hips are open. That's what that tells me. I like it. All right, so let's switch sides. So left leg comes forward. better on your joints to hold that leg, flexing it, and just walking that leg back. But the leg being parallel on the mat, like, I don't know who came up with that. That's hard as you know what. So just taking it forward. And then again, just kind of lean your body forward, keeping your hips squared over your pigeon, keeping your front leg flexed. That kind of protects our joints a little bit when we're taking them in these wonky positions. But believe it or not, that the higher this, because the more immobile we are in our hip bone here, has everything to do with how far this leg will go. So we'll learn that when we go through that part of that anatomy. You guys got some beautiful pigeons though. Some hot pigeons in this room. Just try to breathe. You guys look super relaxed. Maybe your hips are kind of open. Most people look like they want to die in this pose.
Oh, I want to die.
You're like, oh no, it's there. It's for real. It's really happening. No, so it's just like, okay, just kind of noticing that, you know, that coming up in for us, and just kind of just breathing into it and just letting it go, and just notice where you're clenching too. We always feel like if we don't clench, that whole leg is going to pop off our body or something. Like with the Lego toys or something. Just breathe, give me one more deep inhale and exhale. And then slowly release, reach back with that right hand, grab the back top of your foot, and then just kind of pull it forward as much as you can. I know. This one is like any of these have always just been, woo! But it's almost like when we're stretching our whole posterior chain, we're kind of doing that when we do that on the leg in the front. And then so go ahead and release. And then coming up onto your knees. Now the left leg is gonna come up and over, and then open up your legs. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, we didn't twist. I know, we didn't twist. Okay, so we were here. Okay, so, wrap the right leg around it. and then twisting the other way. So a lot of times in yoga, we have a twist is like a push-pull. So inhaling, lift up. Exhaling, twist, taking your gaze over your right shoulder. Trying to keep both sits bones on the mat, so just kind of being mindful about where your body is, what it's doing. Slowly release, coming forward, and then just opening those legs up. Oh. Yeah, so we're already here, and then so we're kind of already in the pose, but it's basically this. And then you just open up your legs, and then try to sit both sits bones. So it's got to get both sits bones on the floor, and then just pulling those back. So ultimately, we're trying to get both knees stacked over each other. I literally just got here, like a few months ago. And I've been practicing for like 10 years. So like this one is so much more difficult than it looks, but we stretched your hips out pretty good today, so. And some people it's super easy for, and it just like, and some people are like, oh my God! And then coming back forward, knees together, see if you can open up your legs and be very, 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 very careful. And see if you can sink back. Careful. Love it! Woo! Super good for our knees. Super good for the hips. So that's taking our femur bone, our greater trochanter, and twisting that in here. So externally rotating our greater trochanter. Isn't that crazy? And so slowly coming back up. And just taking your feet forward into boat. And so I want you to notice here any sensations in your pelvis, in your sacrum, in your coccyx, and just kind of notice it and see if you can kind of generalize, like if you have any pain or weakness, see if you can generalize kind of where that is as you slowly lower down to the floor for 3, for 2, I'll see you, oh my God, I'm so proud, and 1. And just relaxing your body all the way down for a much deserved Shavasana. I know your hips are going to be screaming through your whole Shavasana. They're going to be like, "Ah!" But slowly just kind of taking this time, just allowing your body to be as heavy as you can in the mat. If you want to and you have a block, you can take legs at the wall, or you can take, even just taking your palms of your feet together for a minute, but taking your full, like just checking out Shavasana.
Silence is good. Oh, here.
There is an ancient Native American teaching that says that within us are two wolves. Whichever one we feed, we strengthen. Within each of us, there exist two forces, a pull towards security, preservation of ourselves as we are, and a pull towards growth. Whichever we hold more precious, we cultivate. Growth requires a certain singleness of mind. You cannot serve two masters. Either you commit to change of heart and mind and live it out, or you are just playing around. This singleness of mind I'm talking about means making a total commitment to the path of growth. No wavering, no detours, absolute commitment to stay present, unconditional commitment to discovering and living by the truth within. I'm talking about staying the course, even when it hurts. When we lack a sense of commitment, except to our own ways, even though we knew it was going to be uncomfortable and it was right, we would drown out our inner voice of consciousness and eventually do whatever we want. If there was pleasure, we go there. If there was uncomfortable or meant facing our self-centeredness, we're out of there. Temptation to follow my feelings was a wonderful diversion, the perfect exit door from any kind of personal focus. Never making a decision is a decision unto itself. It's a decision to stay in a personal fog. Staying in the confusion is safe because in the fog, we never have to face the mundane that comes with committing to a path. Everyone tries to avoid the mundane path, but that is the path that makes us grow. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, twisting in your wrists and your ankles, and then reaching up over your head and kicking into your heels. Just kind of squeeze and engage your body. It might feel a little wobbly. We temporarily destabilize your hip joints, so no crazy hip thrusting today for a little while. And then pull your knees into your chest and just really hug them in and roll around on your lower back for a second. And then straighten your left leg, keeping your right knee. And then take that right knee into your armpit on the right side. So just kind of pull it over to the side. Just giving those hips a little extra yummy. And then very slowly taking that right knee across your body for a supine twist. Taking your gaze over your right shoulder. And so just kind of noticing in your low back where you can kind of let go. Also noticing what you can unclench, maybe your jaw, your neck. And then slowly take that leg back, reaching and grabbing your left knee and pulling your left knee in. Keeping that right leg straight. And maybe even just doing a little roll on those hips if you want, just kind of taking the knee around and rolling it. And then take that left knee out to your armpit on the left side and just pull it in. Just feel that little nice stretch right there. And then slowly taking your left knee across your body for a supine twist, taking your gaze over your left shoulder. Just kind of sending your breath into your low back. Just getting a little bit more release there. And then slowly just coming onto your right side in a fetal position, in a pose of gratitude. grateful for you taking the time for you putting your oxygen mask on first. As women, we take care of everyone and we're the last one to get taken care of. So this is for you, even though it's a struggle, this is your path to personal growth. You take your right hand to your left shoulder, left hand to your right shoulder. Give yourself the biggest hug because you just made it through a hip class and those are hard, but hips are needing it. Just be like, you did such a good job, I'm so proud of you. Just be so loving to yourself, we're so mean to ourselves. And then slowly come up to a seated position with your eyes closed and your towel on the back of your neck. And then taking your middle finger to the bridge of your nose. And inhaling through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Plug your nose and hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale with the hum. Plug your nose and hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Plug your nose and hold. I know the bumblebee breath can be a little hard, but work with it. It's so healing. Exhale, hum. Plug your nose and hold. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Really try to expand your ribs. Make some room. Plug your nose and hold. Kind of notice your body. Exhale with the hum. Plug your nose and hold. Allow your body to be uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. Hold, hold. And release. Take your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your belly. Make sure you take time for you. Others will come and go. Take care of your health. Take care of your mindset. Take care of your breath. Guard your heart. Love lots. Laugh more. May this yoga practice heal and strengthen your body and your mind. May this yoga practice change and strengthen your body and your mind. Thumb hook, knuckles to forehead. Namaste. And if you guys want to stay for meditation, I know that you have probably or
No, I'm going to stay.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Oh, meditation.
Yeah, for the 10-minute meditation, we're usually doing that after class, and then we do, and then we just kind of go over the evacuation questions. Let's see. What time? We're back on at 2 today, or are we back on at 1 today?
At 2 to 4, I think.
We meet at 4 again?
At 2 to 4.
2 to 4. Okay. Awesome. So we are gonna do a 10-minute meditation if you want to join us in that, and then we're just. This is part of the 40-day challenge. Afterwards, if you guys want to stay, we're just gonna kind of talk about the book. I don't know if you guys have been reading it or not, but so let's go ahead and go into our meditation real quick. And so we'll just do the 10 minutes. And so just kind of stacking your vertebrae again. And trying to get your shoulders stacked, trying to even pull your head back a little bit, just almost like you're kind of hinging on your body. You can have conscious breath or just breathe natural, whichever helps distract the brain. And then I like to imagine like a big, beautiful ball of crystal, like 6 feet in front of me. And as I'm inhaling, I'm trying to pull that beautiful white healing light and inhaling it through every cell into my body. And then exhaling everything, all the dark smoke, anything that doesn't serve us or deserve us, any pain, any struggle, any self-doubt. And then inhaling that beautiful crystal white light all through your body. Imagining it going through every cell. And then exhaling all the dark smoke out. And just kind of noticing when things come up for you when you're in your meditation. Recognizing it as important or not. And then swiping it away. moving or feeling tightness. And then slowly trying to keep your eyes closed, just try to lay your body down. Straighten out your legs. Notice if you can kind of let go of some of those areas that you might have been plunging into in your meditation. And then really engage your feet. Flex your toes up towards your face as you're inhaling. Really just squeeze every muscle in your feet. Clench your toes. And then as you exhale, slowly release and relax each muscle in your foot. And then come up into your ankles and your calves. And really, as you're inhaling, squeeze every muscle. Just really trying to engage all the muscles there. And then slowly exhaling, slowly releasing each muscle. And coming up to your knees, really engage the knees. Inhaling, lifting your kneecaps, squeezing, maybe pressing the heels of the ground. Really engage and slowly exhaling and releasing each muscle, trying to exhale as long as you can, slowly releasing. Engage your quads and really squeeze them. Engage your glutes and really just engage all of your body, squeezing as you inhale. And then slowly exhaling, releasing each muscle, just slowly, slowly as you keep exhaling. Engage your abs, your quads, your hips, kind of pull, engage your core, stomach, squeeze everything in. And then as you're exhaling, slowly start to release everything in your abdomen. Take your shoulders and really shrug them up to your head and squeeze them in, pull them back, just really engage them, squeezing, and then slowly exhaling and releasing them all the way down to your mat. Take your hands and make a fist and just squeeze and flex your wrists and squeeze your hands in your forearms. And then as you exhale, slowly start to release your hands and your forearms. Engage your biceps and really squeeze those muscles and really get each muscle in your arm. And then as you're exhaling, very, very slowly starting to release. Engage your neck and your face and just really squeeze every muscle, neck and face, and really squeeze it as you're inhaling. And then exhale, slowly starting to release each muscle in your head and neck. And then engage the top of your head. Just imagine you're squeezing into the top of your head and you're trying to pop the top of your head off and just really squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. And then as you exhale, just slowly releasing every muscle in your body. And just take this next few seconds just to kind of let each body part relax into the mat. Trying to get it to let go a little bit more. So much of us, almost 90% of our day, we are clenching somewhere in our body, trying to keep and retain some control. Try to let that go. And then whenever you're ready, you'll just slowly come up to a seated position. Taking your time here, but just noticing the differences you might feel in your body. Slowly kind of go over the evacuation.